Hello, I'm Leo, CEO of Onboarding Online. With 15 years in mobile app development, I created dozens of activation funnel with a high performance and conducted audit for hundreds and hundreds of onboarding processes. And today with Anton, we will talk about the Call AI activation flow.
Yeah. Hey, Leo, and hey, everyone. I'm Anton. I worked in AppHut and Adapti startups companies, and also have a big expertise in mobile market with 15 plus years in building apps and helping apps and auditing apps. So I'm happy to join Leo today to walk through this a beautiful Cal AI app and to do some like a review or audit of their onboarding screens. So yeah, I think we could start, right?
Yep. So it is super interesting application. It was created by 70 years old guy. And it is, as for me, it is a new generation of application because they was the first person who implemented calorie tracking through the images. They used OpenAI multimodal tracking for that. And they was super success with this very, very interesting approach. And
Yeah.
we have two funnels here from the previous year's implementation and new year's implementation, and that could help us to compare the different approach. But I saw that they tested the previous approach and now too.
Yeah,
So,
I like such apps and such stories with some new approach, unique approach, especially from the younger developers who have succeeded with this. So yeah, it will be cool to dive deeper into
yes,
their case. Yeah.
and it is super interesting that this like simple application disrupt this market when we have like application like a Noom, Lose It, and so on and so on. But this new approach allows them to achieve the success with the application. So let's start from the welcome block. On the previous approach, they use just an images with the slides. And in the new implementation, they use a video that help them to show the value from the very early stage of activation funnel. And I really like this new approach with the video because they help to show the value from the very early stage. What do you think, Anton?
Yeah.
Which approach you like?
From my point of view, the second approach on the 2025 version is better because you can see we can see that it showcases the app value in very obvious and simple and elegant way by showing how it works when you scan your food and you just got some numbers about the calories or something. It's much more like understandable and elegant than showing some static pictures from my point of view.
Sure, and they highlight the main thesis that calorie tracking made easier, and this is the main point of whole storytelling line, the script. So after the welcome blocks, they start like get data block. But as for me, it is not the best one because they started from the personal question, but they don't ask user about his main needs. What are they going to achieve with this application? And as for me, it should be started from the question about the goal. It will be a bit more in logic of storytelling, especially when we're talking about some kind of service. You ask how to help user, and then you ask his personal information. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I completely agree with you that storytelling should be smooth and it should be interrupted with some unexpected maybe questions or screens. But I only wanted to note that maybe it's so important to show these screens about the user gender and where did you hear about us? Because as we can see, they have some specific options like YouTube, Google, or even a TV and friend of family. I just suppose that they have a lot of channels and some of these acquisition channels hard to attribute. So they need to ask new users on the onboarding screens to attribute and maybe to understand which channels works great for them or just
Okay.
not so great.
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree about the channel. I'm not still sure about the gender, but I understand why channel request is here. And one more thing, that if they ask about the gender, then they could use it for personalization for some assets and so on and so on. And we have really a lot of example, like a better me, lose weight, and so on and so on. So you could personalize if you know the gender of user or any other info, you could use it in the next approaches, but I doesn't see this personalization here. So what do you think about this block, about this get data block? What about the UX?
Yes, if we speak about UX and maybe UI, I just see some inconsistencies here because on some screens we can see that they put black and white icons. On a gender screen, they didn't put any icon and just male, female, other, and it's just aligned by center, not by left like in other screens. So I just don't have idea why. And yeah, I like here all text aligned left, and here for some reason it's aligned right center. What? Yes, and why? It's just a bit unclear. And across these onboarding screens, we will see that they use this black and white theme all the way. And for some reason, in the screen about acquisition channels, they put colorful icons. Just again, a bit unclear for what reason they did that.
I'm agree, and it is not super clear why we have images on some cells, and on some cells we have just the labels. It is unclear for me too. This is not big deal, but it could be polished for sure. So let's go to the next screen. They ask about the channel. They asked about the previous experience. Then they try to work with the fears. They try to sell that the approach help you to achieve long-term result. I'm not sure about this chart because as for me, it doesn't really help to understand the main idea. You just see some charts and it is difficult to understand what do they show. What do you think?
Yeah, my first impression on the screen was like not traditional diet is the winner. And then I read the text and I understood that it's not are the best options, but from the design and how it's shown, it might look a bit confusing. Yeah.
And one more thing, take a look. If you don't ask about the goal before you show this chart, it is impossible to understand what is a good result and what is a bad result. Because for lose weight, it will be one result. For the gain weight, it will be different result. And for maintain weight, it will be absolutely different result.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let it be, let it be. So about height and weight screen, what do you think? It is unusual approach. Do you like it?
I just usually saw screens in the apps like Better Me, and they have approach one question, one screen, and I can't understand why they just put it together, because for me it's just a bit overloaded, and it's better to divide on two different screens. And yeah, I can see such thing here.
Yes, it one more time for inconsistencies, because on this screen for each wheel you have their own parameter like height and weight, and here for the date you have three wheels, but they talk just about the date. I'm totally agree that it is unusual. Maybe it is some hack, but usually it is better to split it on the two separate screen, because usually it is allow you to decrease your cognitive load for your users.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing, just small thing, again, not a big deal, but here on these two screens about height and weight and the birth date, we see that a subtitle, this small text, is the same. This will be used to calibrate your custom plan. I think they could put some more useful information. For example, on the height and weight screen, they can put a BMI, such index for user, maybe some explanation of selected values. It could be again more a personalized information than just some
Totally agree.
universal text. Yeah.
And if we are talking about the UX, one more time, if we have the screens with a single selection options, then we don't need this continue button. So because it just spent additional attention on the screen, especially when it is so heavy, big black button here, and we just don't need it. The user could press on the options, and it will be transferred to the next one screen. So, okay, they ask about the goal, then they ask about the target weight, and they use new UX approach for entering the weight. Do you like it? And do you understand why they decide to choose new one element and new one pattern here?
Yeah, it was a bit surprising to me to see this element after just vertical scrollers. I just have no idea why they decided to put it here, because it's completely different from what we've seen before. And maybe they tried to create some new, some fresh experience on different screens to surprise users, maybe to show something unusual, something interesting. But for me, a consistency in these screens, in the onboarding flows, is really important thing. Yeah, it's a really important thing, and we should maintain that, not to just use some super specific element instead of that.
I agree, especially when this element usually represents the height, but not the weight. But let it be. So cool. We got the first result. We got the plan. We understand. We got the answer about the all required info to calculate the BMI index, and then we have something like result screen here with some kind of social proof here. It is the first place where they show the social proof. Then they ask user about the speed of their goal achieving. And I don't really like this screen because they ask about the speed, how fast do you want to reach your goal? But then they show you the weight. The answer is the weight, and it is in inconsistencies. And it will be super easy. They could just add this per week label to the kilograms label, and then it will be consistent. They ask about the how fast, and then it will be half kilo per week or something like this. And in this case, you could just remove this screen, and the screen it will be a bit more lightweight. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because you don't need to put some extra text explanations with smaller text. Just put as a main information in the more like understandable and visual way, and you don't need some extra text. And again, you will decrease cognitive load, and it's great. And I can just tell in addition that I not sure about these animal icons, what does it mean, and how they are associated with a selected weights that you want to lose per week. So if, and again, and below this a selector, or we can see some hint like slow and steady. So it's better to just try to show it in more like visual way, and you will don't need some extra hints or something, maybe to just simplify it, to show it a bit different maybe. And one more thing, this hint looks like a button for me, because before on the screens with some options we saw the same design. Yes, we can see the same design, and it looks pretty same. And yeah, I'm really sure that a lot of users will try to tap on this hint text because they think that they should select something.
Yes, absolutely agree. And one more time, it is this inconsistency about the icon. It's one more time they ask about the speed, then they talk about the weight, and then they try to represent the speed, and that it doesn't work as for me. So they could just remove it and leave just this text messages or think a bit about it. And I'm not sure what does this cat do. I'm not sure about both. But let it be. Let's go to the next one screen. So when you set the speed of your goal achieving, they try to highlight that the performance with the application is really good. What do you think about this screen?
And for me, again, I see some things that I don't really like a bit, to be honest, because on the left side we see a percent, and on the right bar we can read 2x. So for me, it's better to compare a percent to percent, for example, 20 to 40, for example, or just like 1x and 2x on the right, something like that.
Okay, and what do you think about the height of the chart? This is that
Yeah.
it is more than 2x here.
Yeah, maybe it's some trick or hack or like dark pattern to show users that the value is super big with the app. But anyway, it's maybe more consistent and maybe tested to try different variants to compare comparable values.
Agree. So then they ask what could prevent you from reaching your goals. And generally, this screen looks okay for sure. But one more time is if this is a single selection screen, we don't need this heavy button continue. But if it is multiple selection screens, then it will be easier to add checkbox because user could not understand what is it. Is it possible to select several items or not? What do you think about these icons? Do you like it? Does it help you to understand the options?
Most of them are okay because it follows the common scheme of, I mean, a UX scheme, but some icons maybe just can be improved. For example, if could you just a bit right? Yeah, boost my energy and mood looks exactly like some system brightness icon on iOS, for example, for me. Yeah.
And this one, I can talk it as for me a bit about the power, but not about the motivation. So if as for me, I have very simple rule. If icon doesn't help you to understand the phrase, the text phrase, then you need to remove it. Because in this case, it just increase your cognitive load and not decrease. And this is the purpose of the icon usually, to help you easily to understand what does it mean. What do you need to do on this screen? Okay, then we have one more chart here. And if we ask about the if our goal is losing weight, why we have the growing chart here? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. Maybe they try to create some universal chart. That's why they are using this a specific term like weight transition, but not like weights in some kilos.
Do you think
And
that they're a bit lazy to create that personal approach?
no, I don't think they are lazy. Maybe they try just to create a great universal approach, not because they like to do this exactly that way, but it can confuse user because they don't put some exact numbers on the chart, but user already entered some value, some target weight, some goals, and you can put together everything to show it with exact numbers. Yes, and again, you can choose different goals like maintain weight, and in this case, it could be unclear why it's growing, this weight transition.
Yes, especially if on the first option, the good result is at the bottom, And somehow on the next chart, the good result at the top. And one more time is about the lack of personalization. On this screen, we know exact user goal, and we could put it here. Or put it here at the bottom. But in any case, for sure, it is better to use the personal information from the user. That shows them that you heard him and you take into account his answers, and shows that you really personalize, adopt your product to their needs, to their context, to their situation generally. Do you want to add something about this chart?
No, I think we just, yes,
Let's go.
we did okay. Yeah.
So they said, thank you for trusting us. And as for me, they started a bit new design teams here. What do you think? Do you understand what's going on here?
I'm just, no, I mean, such illustrations are okay. Some of them looks really great and understandable, but for me, again, when we go through through these onboarding screens, we always see like a design is changing when you're moving to the right, not to the next screens, and it's a bit unclear for what reason. I prefer to see it more consistent, and maybe some illustrations could be a bit more like different. For example, like in the "Thank you for trusting us" screen, I just see some room for improvement here. And one more thing, in the "Thank you for trusting us" screen, I'd put some social proof, because again, this app has some big numbers, big audience, and you could put something specific, not only like universal phrase.
Sure. And one more thing about UX here, that they changed the pattern. They on each of the previous screens, they put the title at the beginning, at the top of the screen, near the navigation bar. But I don't know why they put the images at the first place here. So it looks a bit inconsistent as for me. So there is new pattern here. Generally, I like that they ask user about the common question, and it's one of the really common question: what do I need to do if I not in the limit of my calorie budget? What do they need to do? And they allow you to like personalize this approach and remove these fears before they show the paywall. I really like this feature. What do you think?
Yeah, and this is what we exactly were talking before, that these onboarding screens really need a personalization, and here we see it, and it works, I think, really great. I believe for me it's just a bit unclear. So if the preferred option here on these two screens is yes, maybe it's better to highlight yes button. I mean, not leave it like filled with black, but maybe leave no button with some gray, and some gray design, not to focus on that. But if user really can just choose between the two options, and it's like 50 to 50, so it's okay. In such case, it should be okay. Both options are highlighted. Yeah.
But we don't know what is the preferred options for them. Maybe it is the same weight here. I'm sure too. And what is interesting here, you're talking about the personalization, but I'm not sure that. Do you think that it is personalized numbers? I'm not
I don't know exactly.
It is good idea for them to use, if they already calculated this calorie budget, they could show the exact calorie budget that was prepared for the user.
Yeah.
But maybe it is. I'm not sure. So then they ask about the rating, and this is the first place where we can find the, no, sorry, it is the second place where we can find the social proof. And that's it. It generally works. What do you think about the UX of the or UI of the screen?
Yeah, I think it's a great screen, and we see a lot of social proofs like portraits of users and exact review from the user with the great results. That's the only thing I just can't understand why they put yeah on such screen such a small number when they talk about 2 million users, because for me it's just a point of focus, and you can just put such important numbers on a title to show it to everyone that a lot of it, a huge amount of like a positive maybe and fun and happy users, and not 2 millions, it's can create a great point of trust. And
Sure.
yeah,
Sure, absolutely. And one more interesting thing, I need to double check it because I don't remember which gender preference I used. And social proofs should be personalized too. And you could find the personal review for men, for women, and so on, because it should be as closer to the portrait of your user as it is possible, because our brain give a bit bigger weight for the review from the users that are similar to us. It works if it helps for the user that's similar to me, then it will help me too. This is the main logic here. Okay, push notification request. What do you think about it?
yeah, I think some approach could really work, but as the main good idea on the screens is to show why they need such permissions, what benefits will give got the user when
Help user to achieve
yeah,
their goals. Sure.
yeah. If they allow these notifications, why they need it, what information will be provided on these notifications. Yeah,
and how does
not
it
only
help?
like the Apollo.
Yep, sure. How does it help user? Especially they ask. Okay, so the referral code screen. What do you think about it?
I'm not sure about why they need to show it like a separate screen, because it may be put in some different places, like not before on some not before paywall screens, or even on the paywall screen somewhere. I mean, not a always a huge focus on that, of course, but maybe they have a lot of like audience from B2B customers or something like that, and they all have such specific discount codes. So maybe that's why they put this like a separate screen. And but maybe just let it be. Maybe it's okay. And but what do you think about the screen design? Do you like it? Do you see some room for
Yeah,
improvements
sure.
here?
I'm not sure about this. You can skip this step. Why they add it as a label instead of just adding the additional button at the footer with the skip options or skip option in the navigation bar. So there are really a lot of implementations that will work better than just to manage user to read this label. Just add the skip button here and it will work. And I absolutely agree that this screen could be added like additional button, like apply your promo code or referral code at the several screens. And if user, for sure, it decreases the likelihood that user finds this button. And for sure, I believe that the guys have a bit bigger information. Maybe it is really important for them and they show it for each of the users. But they need to calculate it. Is it really profitable for them? And test several approaches. Okay, time to generate your custom plan. And I really like the screen, but I don't really like that it is overlapped with the ATT permission request. Because as you see, we show the half of the result. We almost finish it with preparing, and it is fully overlapped with this request. I don't like this request on this place. And one more time, I believe that it is possible to find a bit better context for this request. What do you think?
Yeah. And I completely agree with you. And as we all know, this
Mhm.
progress screens when you are building the finalized and personalized plan, it's just a so important step in this flow of onboarding when you put everything now together and you show in the user that you're creating something special, some special offer for exactly that user, and it shouldn't be interrupted with some additional not related screens. And one more thing, maybe I'd put some exact numbers when you are building the plan. You already got some numbers and target from the user, and you can show that you are creating um, your
For sure.
personalized, yeah, Mavis plan
Mhm.
are based on these numbers, not only again some generic texts.
Yeah, but numbers, user goals, user preferences, and so on, so on. Show the personalization, not just talk about the personalization. Just show that you adopt plan to the user preferences, and this is the main idea. And the second, and we need to add that this screen usually use it to abuse the labor illusion effect. You want to show user that it is not so simple to create this plan, and we are working hard to create this plan for you, but all this work overlapped and it is not personalized. It could be it could be better. It could be better, and it is not difficult because general design of the screen is really good. There are different approach to how to implement the screen, but it looks really good. But I'm not sure about the content and overlapping with this request. But
Yeah,
let's see.
absolutely agree with you. Yeah. Yeah,
So
cool.
then this is the plan. What do you think about the plan screen? Do you like it?
Yeah, I like they put more colors here,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how it matches with the black and white scheme. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
it makes the information more like um, understandable. I can see different numbers. I can better read what my plan is, what our recommendations for me are. And only one thing, that when you show in your target
Mm-hmm.
goal and the exact date, I'd just maybe use something like some chart, something more visual, understandable than just a small text
It,
note
it
like
could
it.
be bigger. Yes,
Yeah,
it could be bigger. And I have a hypothesis about this coloring. So you started from your dark past, and you go to the bright future with the Call AI. I believe that this is the idea.
well,
For sure.
sounds great. Yeah,
For sure, it's
but
an
it
ideal.
should be understandable for the users as well. This
Yes,
idea. Yeah.
it is just a emotional hack from the dark past to the colorful future with the Call AI. Okay, I like the screen, but I really believe that the main needs of this application could be a bit bigger here on this screen. Okay, then we have a screens with the video that highlights the value of the application one more time. And they talked about the free trial. They try to sell this free trial. Then they remove the fears um, of the payment, and they promise the users that they inform them before they get their money. And what do you think about this block about this paywall block and about the exact paywall screen?
Yeah, I do really like as well these pre-payable screens when you show in one more time the core value of the app and how it helps to achieve the results. It's really cool idea to show it once again to ensure user he's on the right way before the final and the most important step of purchasing trial. And so reminder, is great screen too for me. It's so important to show that we will remind you before the trial ends. Maybe it's better to put some upper goal and target information on the paywall, to put here this personalization, maybe some trust, because paywall is focused on start your 3-day trial, and it repeated, I think, like 5 times here. It's great to focus user on that action, but maybe I'd put more a personalized and social proof information here too.
Agree. And the great example is Yazoo paywall, where they use the target weight and target date here, because this is the value of application. This is the how you help user to satisfy his needs for losing weight or gaining weight, and so on and so on. Okay. Then if user cancel the payment, they will see one more paywall screen. And what do you think about it?
I like the approach, and it's a great idea to offer this a discount if user still not sure after all steps and after the checkout. But maybe one more thing I put here is just some countdown timer, because it's really great and pattern, and it really works in my practice. So yeah, I can offer such improvement here.
You want to show that this is a limited offer, and countdown works a bit, not a bit, just better if you compare it just with the text, because it always decreases, and it will make a pressure to the user and help to improve your conversion. But maybe they don't want to add additional pressure to this user, and we need to take it in the account, because it is really important when we're talking about the losing weight and so on and so on, because it is really important for the user, and they already have a lot of stress. Maybe they just don't want to add this additional stress. So,
yeah, but it usually works, and it should be tested anyway.
sure.
Maybe it's a great option, maybe it's not. Yeah, only experiment results will show.
Absolutely. I like countdown approach too. I just try to understand why they decided to choose this approach. So, what is your general impression about this funnel?
Yeah, and as I said at the start again, I like such apps with a new approach, with new value and features, especially created by some talented young developers. It's really cool story, and it's a one of the top apps in this category, in this vertical. So I really just like this cases, such cases like that, like calorie. But for me, it's could be more consistent in terms of like UX, icons, titles, questions. I mean everything. And this storytelling overall could be more smooth and natural, understandable for user. And one more thing, I just wanted to have more a personalization between the screens, and more like branches of the screens are depending on what you choose in different questions in different screens.
Absolutely agree. And I believe that there is a lack of social proofs here. You should start from the social proof, especially when you have thousands of the reviews and millions of the users, because it helps to empower all your next theses. So if you add the social proofs at the beginning, all these theses will work better on each screen, and for sure you need to add social proofs everywhere, because our brain works on this way, that social proof really increase our trust level, and it should be everywhere. BetterMe, I believe that one of the best examples, they have social proof everywhere, and it always works. And I totally agree about the personalization, because it is one more point that help you to improve user trust level, the likelihood that his needs will be satisfied with this approach. And I agree about these inconsistencies with the design, and what is important that it could be polished without big investments here, and I hope that the guys will fix it. Generally,
Yeah.
I like that this approach is minimalistic. They talk it about the calorie tracking made easier. They try not to make long onboarding, long activation funnel here, but this long activation funnel in this vertical, in the losing weight, especially in the calorie tracking, I believe that you know that the Noom is like a gold standard for all these approaches, but they go by their own way, and as I understand, it works. And for me, it will be super interesting. Could this onboarding will be could it be better? And could influence to the conversion if we make it like a in general way, like a Noom, like a lose it, when we're talking about the history, when we're talking about the previous experience, when we're talking about the motivation of the user, and all this question usually help to create the feeling of the consultation with a professional person in this sphere. But I really like that this approach works too. So,
Yeah.
so thank you so much. As for me, it was super interesting to discuss it together, and I hope we will continue it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Leo, for inviting me, and such a great case, right? And it was a pleasure to review it, to understand what could be improved for me. Yeah. Such a cool app. Yeah. It's such a
And
cool format.
and for sure, we will add each point that we discussed it in some text format, and for sure we will share this mirror board with these funnels too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
Then thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.